Hello, Lusties. This is your show, Lust for Life, and I am your host, Epiphany. And today's topic is Battle of the Blues. I mean, this is supposed to be the wonderful time of year, as they say, but to be honest, the other flip side of this is the most highest rated time of the year for depression and loneliness and grief for people who have lost their loved ones that has crossed over to the other side. This might be a painful experience to visit somebody house that used to be filled with love and laughter and they're not there. Or just this time of the year brings a lot of theft and people like to break into your house trying to steal things. It's a lot of craziness that goes on in the holiday season, and I just wanted to address some of the ways that you can combat that. Because there's no need to be depressed and have the blues during the holiday season, even though I understand there's definitely 1,001 legitimate reasons. So, once again, this is Lust for Life. And if this topic hits home for you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and we'll definitely keep on having these videos coming too. So, I am a psychologist as well as a health and physiology major. In college, I had that as my major, and I have a bachelor's in science, and I have an IO in psychology for a master's program. So I learned a lot of things through experience as well as the academia world on how to combat certain things. And I'm speaking from experience. First and foremost, I had a parent that passed away many years ago, and she did around the holiday season. So it was very odd for me to go and try to celebrate when it was a time that reminded me of so much sorrow and grief. So for those people out there, I have some great advice and some great tips. And the first tip is we're going to do is we're going to talk about detox. So I know a lot of people have lots of food and they think about food detox around this time of year because you get overindulged in the cakes and the pies, and you want to be able to eat something that's lower all of that, and you want to detox after you overstuff yourself. And that is cool too, because food detox definitely does help the mental side of your body as well as the physical. But I'm talking about an ocular detox. So my recommendation for you guys is for 30 days. I know they have the 21-day thing, but I'm asking you to do 30 days, a whole month of just making sure you purify what you look at, what you visualize, what you see, what you surround yourself, your environment. Make sure that you're very careful and picky about what you look at. So I recommend ocular detox. And my second detox is a cerebral detox, meaning the thoughts in your mind, your cognitive processes, and making sure that they're pure and clean as well. You want to detox the mind, body, and soul, but we're going to talk about specifically the eyes and the mind. So, one of the easiest things you can do, and it seems to be a forgotten art, and that's just simply be kind. I know today is Black Friday, and it's going to be people in lines fighting over toys, and that even sounds funny. Why is grown people fighting over toys? If that's to me, that doesn't show love. It's trying to buy your way out or being your daily responsibilities of being a parent or a guardian. That's not necessarily is going to get you a ticket in the love seat of how to demonstrate love. Love should be demonstrated in things that we do, not necessarily what we can buy our gifts for our loved ones. So I want to encourage you guys to just try to be kind. And I understand you might have your feathers ruffled in a way that just irritates you. You have to be dedicated. Dedicated to being positive. So, my second advice on positive thinking is to always focus on the positive, no matter what. I don't care if someone took you into a room and the room was painted with your least favorite color, a color that just make you nauseous to your stomach. Like someone painted the color red. took you in a room that was full of red. And all you see is red everywhere and you hate red. I don't care if it's a doorknob. If you could find one gold doorknob to focus on that. Don't look at the walls, don't look at the curtains, don't look at the carpet. If it's all red, don't look at any of it. Focus on that gold doorknob. And that's it. And appreciate that gold doorknob. Be determined to be happy. Be determined to beat depression and beat the blues. You have to start training your mind. It's a muscle. And you definitely have to work out a muscle. Or if you don't, your muscle will get limp. That's any type of muscle in the body. You have to work it out. So I say, once again, be very careful about being ruffled in the wrong way. Focus your mind on something that you like. If you're in a situation where you have to participate in something that you don't really want to do, think about something that you do want to do. Imagine that you're doing what you want to do. Like it's something that you hate to cook. Imagine that you're actually not cooking, but maybe doing an experiment. Just find little tricks to trick your brain into thinking that you're not doing what you don't like and that you're doing what you do like. Let's say you love research, and researching certain type of ingredients might be more fascinating way to think of something than just like, oh God, I gotta cook. So don't look at it that way. Think of it in a different type of light or perspective. And that can help you to get over the hump of negative emotions. And also, a big one I really plead with you all to try is stay away from posting negative things on social media. I know we live in a very technically savvy world right now, and everybody is on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or all three, or even some of the old school ones. I don't know. Anybody still on MySpace? Let me know if you're still on MySpace. That'd be interesting to know. But if you're out there and you're posting things that's negative, you're contributing to this negative type of environment and energy in your life. And you're going to attract that type of energy. What you put out, you get back. It's a law of physics. This is not just a spiritual hippie type of concept. Laws of physics, what goes up comes down. So if you put in out this type of energy, it's going to come back to you. So it can be even subtle things. Like I know some people in the professional world like to be what I had a friend used to call it nice nasty. And I think you guys know what it is, corporate America. If you've ever been in corporate America, you understand what nice nasty means. It means to not use any profanity. You don't yell your voice, you don't raise your voice. You're actually in a calm tone matter, but you use words that are slightly sarcastic or condescending. Have you ever been around somebody who's really condescending and they don't sound pleasant? The words they sound was very, very pleasant and sweet, but what their meaning or the intent was really nasty. So don't post anything like that either. Like stay away from those subtle little hidden jabs, like little side jabs, low blows that deep down in your heart was a way to be negative and try to retaliate against somebody. If it's something bothering you, address that person. Do not go to social media and do indirect little hint quotes. That's such a coward way anyway. And you don't get any resolution through that. All you get is like this satisfaction of venting, which does provide some type of relief, but it's not permanent. It's a very fleeting, temporary type of satisfaction that you're not going to be able to sustain yourself with, or that relationship that you're going through with whoever that is. So I honestly tell you, please just refrain from social media, low blows, jabs, whether they're nice, nasty, or they're just straight vicious. Like Wendy Williams style type of vicious. Stay away from it all. That is my other recommendation. So, also, you want to make sure that you're not watching violent type of shows. I'm not even talking about like a gangster show like Scarface or watching something like that. I am talking about those type of movies, but I'm talking about the things that we don't even consider violent, like video games. Some people don't consider certain video games to be violent, but they are. They're very violent. And you're constantly programming yourself subtly. Everything that you put into your brain is like goes into your subconscious. Whether you believe it or not, everything is stored into your memory. We have a short-term memory, yes, and we have long-term memory, but everything gets into your mind and it's just distributed in different parts and locations of the brain. You don't want to poison yourself in any type of way. You don't want to self-sabotage yourself to think something that you didn't really think was that harmful. You thought it was harmless. So also that goes along with music. If you're listening to a lot of hardcore music that's dark or angry, I ask you for 1 month. Come on now, just 1 month. It's not your whole life. Do not listen to any of that. Listen to something soft. Like I had a friend who used to always talk about me because he used to always watch come in somehow catch watching cartoons, like cartoon movies. And he was like, "What is you in the cartoon childhood movies?" I don't even. That's not even my favorite genre of movies. It's not. My favorite genre, I would say, probably is drama. I'm very melodramatic. I come from a theater background in high school. I went to performing arts school. So, therefore, drama, I think, will always be my favorite. Comedy, second, of course. I think who doesn't like a good comedy? But I was recently just trying to get my brain to be lighter. Children have this way of being so light that something bad happens to them, it only affects their world for 5 minutes. They are just genius when it comes to that. I wish adults remember how to do that, just know how to brush things off and let things be like water and trickle off of them. I swear they could get into the biggest fight with their best friend over something, and literally like 5 minutes later, they're back playing on a play set together as if it never happened. Us adults, we're holding on grudges for like 15 years. 5 minutes, that's nothing. They will hold on to something for 15 years or more, depending on the person. So I like to surround myself with energy that's light, and kids' energy is very light. It's very innocent and sweet. Sometimes kids could be rough and mean too. I'm not saying that, but when you're watching as far as movies, I felt that that was the best thing for me to watch this particular time of my life to help lighten the heavy load of being an adult. Because an adult, everything is serious, everything is hard, everything is strenuous, everything is long hours. We don't take naps, we work in 14-hour days. It's a totally different world from apples and oranges, from a kid's world to adult world. So do something like that help you get into the energy of lightness and positivity. It don't have to be a child movie. You don't have to like watch the Minions if you don't want to. You can watch. Just make sure it's something that's going to be uplifting or comedy or so of some sort, and not a sarcastic comedy. Because some sarcastic comedy, once you get those little sneaky low blows, you want to get yourself away from that type of energy. So, also on my list, I basically wanted to recommend that people do not gossip. And I mean, not just talking about somebody to assume your best friend or your coworker or whatever. I'm talking about the self gossip. We have like, we'll see something we think is just disgusting, or we see something that's just shameful, or we see something that's just displeasing to the eye, and we automatically start to judge it. We might not even say anything out loud. We don't say anything to that person. We don't say anything to the person next to us. We'll just have a silent thought like, I don't know about that person, or that person really needs to change their ways and get their stuff together. Those type of self gossip talks need to stop because they're just as poisonous as if you went and verbalized it to someone else. Just because you kept it to yourself, don't make it any better. So you have to train yourself on that being overly critical and judgmental of other people. And if you see something that just pleases you, try to think of something that that person does that do please you. Flip it. That's the best way to do is to flip any negative emotion. Do your best to stay away from that negative emotion and create, because we are creators, create a more positive outlook and perspective on it. So once again, the gossip, and also, of course, do not gossip with others. Like that's like the common rule that you should already know. And self talk. That's my other advice for you guys. Self talk basically is those inside thoughts that we have about ourselves that are self defeating. So don't be critical of self. So if it's something that you really want to do, but you don't think you have the right tools, you don't have the right abilities or skills, do not get into that habit of saying, I can't do this or this is impossible. Those self talks, you have to stop them immediately. You have to stop. You have to stop the excuses because we have a lot of excuses of why we don't do certain things or have things we want. Just that self talk, you have to stop it. And ways to do that is to watch videos like this. Like come to my channel and have somebody remind you of what is possible, that you can do things. There's a lot of meditation videos out here that you can watch too. You don't have to use mine, you can use someone else's. But the key is to make sure that you're always gearing your mind towards what's healthy and not the unhealthy thoughts. So, however you choose to do it, it's your prerogative, and I support you 110% because it's time that we stop this pity parties that get us nowhere. We don't get what we want when we do pity parties. So that is another tip that I like to explain and share with you guys. And my other favorite one, because it's the holiday season, and we have to deal with family. This is the time for family. We might have little cousins or elderly people or people our age or whatever group they are, whatever gender they are, whatever. We have to deal with them. And sometimes we can get a little annoyed with certain relatives. Let's be honest. We all have that annoying little cousin, brother, whatever it is, family that sometimes we try to avoid or try to, try not to have to deal with or whatever it is that's causing friction in that relationship, I recommend you do give yourself space. Because if you're in an energy that's just really negative and you're holding a grudge and you say it in front of the family, now you ruin the whole Thanksgiving dinner. You've ruined the whole Christmas for everyone. Do you really want to be that person that's selfish to ruin a celebration for everybody because you're holding a grudge personally with this person? It's a personal issue. Nobody else has this issue but you. And you're blurting out things in front of the table. That's the most selfish things you can do in the time that's supposed to be about celebration. A celebratory energy does not need to mix with a grudgeful energy. So I recommend you do give yourself some space. And then when you give yourself some space, don't just give yourself some space and start to steep in your hatred for this individual. Just start to think about what you appreciate for this person. Let's say the person might have cooked you and they cooked you something that you're allergic to. Don't automatically make your mind go to the nearest negative route that you can go. It was not intentional because I know it's the first thing someone is going to say, like this person trying to kill me. Maybe they just forgot that you were allergic to peanuts. It doesn't have to be intentional. Don't accept the negative knee jerk reaction that comes to your head first. That's my tip. Do not accept the first negative knee jerk reaction that comes. If it comes in your head, it's coming to your head. You can't, but you can't. What happens next? The next thought. You can't control that, and you can just say, "Well, at least this person thought enough for me to make me breakfast. They might have got the peanut thing wrong, but they did think of me. I'm on their mind. That's something to be happy about. Someone is thinking about you. Someone is putting work in for you. Like cooking is work. That's why people get paid for it. Top dollars if you really know how to cook. So don't accept the negativity, even if you feel wholeheartedly in your heart it's true. If in your heart you really feel like that person's trying to kill you because they served you peanuts, believe in something else. Lie to yourself. Lie to yourself and say, hey, that's not true. This person really does care. Do whatever it takes to make yourself get out of that negative emotion or knee-jerk reaction to a situation of a person that you don't really care for in your family or in your work environment or wherever you are. So that's another thing I like to share with you guys. And I feel that a lot of times that we do this and we get lazy and we don't continue it and we don't think it's no results. I have a very good, simple way to be able to test and evaluate your progress. And that is basically looking at the things that you attract, because this is actually energy shifting, deep subconscious work that you're doing. And when you're doing that, your environment should start to look different. For example, let's say you're single and you're a guy and you're trying to meet somebody different, and all the girls you've been meeting for some reason are like a 2 out of 10 as the qualities that you're looking for in a mate. And as you start doing this, you start to notice that those 10 out of 2 girls that was coming your way disappeared. And you're now starting to attract people who are like 7 out of 10. And that is something to celebrate, because 7 out of 10 is way better than 2 out of 10. It might not be a 10 out of 10. And that's what the mind is. The mind is so tricky that it will start to look at the negative, because we're programmed to look at the negative of what's wrong before what's right. And we are start to think like, well, I'm still not getting a 10 out of 10 that I'm looking for. Who cares? You're not getting a 2 out of 10 anymore, especially females. I'm a female, so I'm guilty of myself. If I find a guy that's not the 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 I'm looking for, I'm kind of slightly bummed. But honestly, you should be so ecstatic, because that means you're moving towards that goal. If last week all you had was 1 out of 10, now you have 7 out of 10s, you are moving in the right direction. And before you know it, with more practice and building of those muscles, that memory, that mind muscle, the cerebral power of looking at the positive, you will get that 9 out of 10. This is Epiphany, and I'm wishing you guys a really warm, sweet, loving, wholesome, peaceful holiday season. And I look forward to you in other videos. I'm going to keep cranking them out for you. And you don't have to be alone this season. You can hit me up on Lust for Life, lvconsultant.com is my email, lustforlife.com here on the channel. And you can talk to me. You can talk to another one of our consultants that we have here. We're professionals, we're for you. Or you can just simply listen to the videos we have here for you. There's so many self-helps out there that you don't have to feel stuck. If you feel stuck, it's because you're being lazy. And I know sometimes when you're depressed, you get lazy, but you have to shake it off and push through all of that, so you can finally get to where you really want to be in life, because you deserve to have that overall joy. And trust me, you keep practicing this, you're going to start noticing things are different. You're going to feel different. You're going to see people around you are different. Your job circumstances, your living conditions, even your income can change when you start practicing these steps. And you'll be like, wow, this actually is better for me. It might have sound lame at first to do. It might not have sound cool, because you're not gossiping and talking about people like the rest of the world. You're not watching, these fight shows like the Desperate Housewives of Atlanta, Miami. I don't even know where they are. But you're not feeding into that, rest of the world chaos. And you're coming back to something more centered. You might feel like that's boring. But it's not boring when you start seeing those checks roll in, and you start seeing better quality relationships, and you start seeing your skin improve, your teeth, your smile, your overall vitality and health. You're not going to think it's lame. So once again, this is Epiphany. Oh, we love you so much. Have a wonderful, warm Christmas season, and we'll be back with more goodies and gifts. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for further notifications, and have a very, very happy holiday.